Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with part 3 of my lockdown book haul. I have another 4 books to show you because zero self-control, nothing better to do, and an over-exercised internet buying finger. So yeah, let's get into the books. So the first book I've got to show you is a 1919 edition of the Grimm's fairy tales, and this is absolutely gorgeous. It's seen better days, but it's 101 years old. I think most things have seen better days at that age. This is gorgeous. This is absolutely stunning. There are no illustrations, but it's got lots of the well-known Grimm's fairy tales. Tom Thumb, that's the only one I recognise actually. The Elves and the Shoemaker, which is my all-time favourite Grimm's fairy tale. The Golden Goose, the King of the Golden Mountain, the Grateful Beasts, Jorinda and Jorindel, the Fisherman and his Wife, the Tomtit and the Bear, the Travelling Musicians. Oh my goodness, there are lots more. Pee-wit, Hans and his wife Gretel, Peter and the Goatherd. Sorry, Peter the Goatherd, Hansel and Gretel, Rumpelstiltskin, the Goose Girl, and lots more. And actually, there are illustrations. There are gorgeous little illustration. In fact, no, there is one illustration throughout the whole book. At the very start, at the what's it called, Graham? The introduction. My goodness me. This is also, it could be older than 1919, because it says here, to Kitty. No, sorry, from father to Kitty, March 1919. So that's pretty much 101 years ago. It's an absolutely gorgeous book, and I love it. And I can add it to my other collection of Grimm's fairy tales, which I have lots of. But when I saw this online, I was like, I have to have that because that's pretty. The next book is a brand new paperback book. I say brand new, it's been out for a couple of years now. It is the sequel to Practical Magic, and it's The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. When I got the Practical Magic book about a week ago now, 2 weeks ago, I had to have this because I'm a completist, and if there is a book that has a sequel, I have to get it. I'm excited to get to this, like I'm excited to get to the previous book. Know that for our family, love is a curse. From the beginning, Susanna Owens knew her 3 children were unique. Franny, with her blood-red hair, who can commune with birds. Jet, shy and beautiful, who knows what others are thinking. And Vincent, too charismatic for his own good. Susanna needed to set I'll start again there. Susanna needed to set some rules of magic. No walking in the moonlight, no red shoes, and certainly, absolutely, no books about magic. And yet, despite the warning handed down through the family for centuries that love will be their undoing, the Owens siblings will break every one of these rules and discover who they truly are. It just sounds spellbinding, and I can't wait to get to it. And like I say, we'll all have time to get to the books that we want to over the next weeks, possibly even months. So that's exciting. Possibly. Now the next book is another old book. I think this one is from the 1930s. This is dedicated to someone in 1936. and it's absolutely stunning. It's called Once Upon a Time, Children's Stories from the Classics, with 48 colour plates by Harry G. Feaker. And I can't wait to get to this. I love Once Upon a Time stories. There are stories about Narcissus, who was a god that loved the look of himself and stared at himself in a pool of water. And yeah, that's how we get the word narcissistic. I told you that because I flicked it open at the page of Narcissus. There is also, by the looks of things, a story about a goat man from a picture here. Is it a goat man or is it a fawn? I'm not sure. It's Mr. Tumnus! No, it won't be. I really can't wait to get to this because it's absolutely amazing. Wow, there's a picture of a cyclops, my goodness me. That's something else, that is. Let's get another picture, another really beautiful one. Wow, that's gorgeous. So, yeah, Once Upon a Time, children's stories from the classics, and I can't wait to read it. The last book was a book that my husband got for me. This is an American first edition of this book, and it is written by a man who wrote a lot of Doctor Who. A lot of episodes for, like, the older Doctor Who. This might be a bit of a controversial one because of the situation we are in at the moment. It's Survivors by Terry Nation, and the tagline is, "A viral holocaust, a handful left alive." This tells the story of a global flu pandemic which kills about 95% of the population. This was written in the 70s and it is clearly still very prevalent to this day. There was a 2008 series on television, but I think that was a remake of an earlier television series that was on in the 70s. I'm not sure which came first, the 1970s TV series or the book, or if the book was a product of the TV series. But yeah, I shall read you the back. Abby started toward the village and then realised she would not have the strength to walk the distance. She went back to her own driveway and got into the Jaguar. There were parked cars spaced along the length of the main village street. An ill-assorted group of dogs ran out from an alley at the sound of the Jaguar's engine. They watched warily as Abby halted the car in the middle of the street. She climbed out and looked around. The dogs were the only living thing she could see. She listened to the silence. It echoed around her. Abby stared. Doors were closed. Shops shut. Farther along the street, an upstairs window banged open. A net curtain billowed out like an escaping spectre. Abby called loudly, "Hello? Is there anybody there?" The window closed slowly, then swiftly banged open again in the breeze. She put her hand into the car and pressed the horn ring. The long blast frightened the dogs, and they went racing out of sight into the alley. Abby drove out of the village and turned left into an unpaved lane. She halted the car and looked through the lich gate along the path to the doors of the church. She had been married here and Peter christened. Her footsteps on the flint chippings echoed loud as she walked slowly forward. She turned the iron ring and pushed the door. She looked inside and then instantly turned and ran half the length of the path back to the gate. There were people in the church. In that fleeting look, she could not identify them or tell how many. She knew only that they were dead. She turned, her eye followed the spire up to the pale blue of the October afternoon. The plea had grown inside her ever since she reached the village and came now to her lips in terrified awe. Dear God, don't let me be the only one. A handful of survivors of I shall start again because I clearly can't read. A handful of survivors of a global plague battle. Can't read. Third time lucky, guys. Here we go. A handful of survivors of a global plague battle for life in an empty world. A gripping novel in the what if tradition of On the Beach, Earth Abides, and Lord of the Flies. When a Moscow to London passenger, ill with a strange strain of flu, is removed before the other passengers are allowed to disembark from the plane, the complexity and speed of jet-age travel produce a pandemic almost overnight. Mass inoculations prove worthless as the terrifying plague outstrips the Black Death of the Middle Ages and the Great Flu pandemic of 1918 that killed 20 million. Rotting bodies litter abandoned cities, and nature is rapidly obliterating the evidence of civilization. Abby Grant, a once privileged woman, now widowed by the plague, moves through this new dark age with determination, sustained by the hopes that her son, who fled his boarding school at the onset of the disease, has also survived. But Abby realises that the first job has to be to relearn the skills on which civilization was based. The vast amounts of goods that remain in the world will eventually be used up or decayed. With others, she founds a commune, and the group returns to the soil. The work is backbreaking, and living becomes perilous. What nature doesn't destroy is sometimes taken by marauding bands who have set up tiny city-states and seek to extend their control. Abby's courage causes her to emerge as the group's natural leader, urging her companions on in the struggle to make new lives. She herself finds a chance for a new life and love when she encounters James Garland, the 14th Earl of Woodhouse, who is engaged in a desperate fight to drive out the brutal group that has confiscated his ancestral home. But more important, she must find her son, pulsing with a drama that could begin tomorrow, or could have begun yesterday. Survivors is a richly imagined, riveting novel. I will read this, but I think not for a while. I think this is the kind of book that shouldn't be read at a time like this. Because it's all too prevalent, I would imagine, the discussions that take place within this book, because we're kind of in that situation right now, and it's a scary one. But anyway, yes. So, cheeriness. That's the part. I've forgotten which part. Part 3 of my lockdown book haul. There will be more because I have gone crazy online and I've bought lots. And I'm not even sorry. I'm horrified with myself, but I'm not sorry. Yeah. So whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it, or try to have fun doing it at least. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, be safe, stay at home, wash your hands, love your family, because, you know, everyone at a time like this needs love and care and attention. Phone family that you can't visit, that you can't see. Speak to them on the phone, FaceTime them, download House Party and phone them that way. It's a fab little app. It's like conference calling, video calling. But yeah, I'm blathering on now. Yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye.